Get ready for the Squawking Eagles Podcast, the show that covers only the Philadelphia Eagles. Think different. Think Squawking Eagles Podcast.
Hello, and welcome back to the Squawking Eagles Podcast. I am Mike, and today, this is Dallas week. Let's
go.
We are ready for Dallas. We're going to talk a little bit about the Commanders game, but I want to dive in quick about all the stuff we were hearing about Dallas and how Dallas wants the Eagles secondary, and how Dak wants to be bathing in honey. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And we also have our guest, Nat, who's a Cowboys fan, coming in. He's going to talk with us about what he's heard during this week, and we'll talk to him. So I'm joined by Miguel and Mark right now. How's it going, guys?
You know, we're alive. We're Eagles fans. We live another day. Go Birds.
Let me tell you something, brother. What you gonna do when there's 70,000 Eagle maniacs screaming in Lincoln Financial Field this Sunday, brother? What you gonna do when the Eagles run all over you, Dallas? Let's go.
That's one thing.
Run the ball.
That's one thing they better do is they better run the ball.
Run the ball.
I'm not running the ball.
So we're going to jump into it. Commanders game was not at all what we expected it to be, especially when we saw the Commanders only put up 7 points against the Giants. And then they come out and score 31 on the Eagles. I want to hear
what were our projections again?
Our projections for that game were Mark said 31-20. I said 35-17. Miguel said 24-16.
All right, so I said it was going to be a close game. I was pretty close.
Yeah.
They scored a little more.
The Eagles defense, didn't really show up. They played back like they have been. They have been playing back on all the receivers, and it was just a bit of a ridiculous thing for me to watch. You want to go first, Miguel or Mark? Who wants to go first?
Miguel.
Go ahead, Miguel.
Listen, we keep continuing week after week. I guess depending on the week, continue to have the same issues. Struggle in the red zone. Struggle with the running game. Looks like we got the running game off early in the beginning of the game, and then Washington just took that away from us. The subs. I don't know if it's the running back coach, if it's Nick Sirianni himself, but whoever's not using, or if they're trying to preserve Swift, they're really going about it the wrong way. Especially, early in the game. Like we went away from him so early that we needed to come back to him so late to just try to, win the game. So I don't know what the thought process is there with the running game. I know they have a lot of faith in Gainwell and Boston Scott, but it just seems like they get away from Swift way too early in the games, in the last couple games that they played. But then again, you see Jalen Hurts sitting in that pocket and, dinking and dunking and finding the plays downfield that he needs to find. Like that one play to Devontae Smith that he was wide open. So that was a great awareness and a great play. I'm still wondering if it was a blown coverage by the DB or if Devontae kind of audibled himself on his route run, because it was kind of questionable when Jalen was asked that at the end of the game. But it was an ugly win. It was a close one, but division game, we all know the same thing. We said the same thing last time. It's always going to be a close game. If you want to look at the example, Kansas City and Denver. Denver got scored 70 points against Miami, and look what they just did to Kansas City. Held them to 9 points. Yeah. So fucking in division games, they're always wacky. They can always turn out the way that these last two games against Washington have.
Yeah, I agree, and I don't think the name Kenny Gainwell can be said on this podcast anymore because of his play lately, and since week 2. And if I see him at all on the field during Dallas, I might have to just shut the game off. I don't.
But, I mean, you got to look at Nick Sirianni said it the other day. I mean, the week before when he fucking put his shoulder into a DB and sent the DB flying back 5 yards, we didn't say anything. No. This week he had a hard time, and everybody's on him. So,
yeah.
You got to look at the big picture and what he's done and what we know that he can do, and not try to critique it, because I don't really think that is a Kenny Gainwell thing. I think it was a Brad Johnson thing and a running back coach thing, like whoever the running back coach is. I just think it's just putting not putting the good players in the positions to win.
Oh, that's a very good Andy Reid comment right there.
Thank you.
Andy Reid.
I learned.
Very nice.
Time's yours.
All right, Mark. Since you,
I'm gonna touch on Gainwell real quick before we go any further. Get back to the game in general. I don't like. I feel like maybe the other game where he had like that, he had decent play when he, nice little push back there on the drop on the shoulder. I think some people were kind of laying off him that week. Be like, I had made comments. Actually, that play, I remember that exact play. I remember saying, like, why is he in? I was like, all right, cool. He made a good play. Fine. And I don't think the hate is directed. I mean, there is a lot of hate directed towards him. I think the biggest problem, and I've seen it all over social media, is that we get down to the, red zone, and that's when Gainwell comes in. And I haven't seen enough out of Gainwell. He's not, 6'2", 240 pounds. He's not like, an old school bruising back.
No.
He's a small little guy. None of our backs are super large. I don't understand why we're switching to him only in these key situations. I don't mind if we want to rotate backs, don't make Swift carry everything. I mean, Swift is still averaging as one of the best running backs in the league right now with 4.9 yards per carry. I don't think we run the ball enough with him. I understand you're trying to preserve him, but I don't think the way to preserve him is that every time we get in the red zone, pull him out.
That's not.
He's a great receiving back. He's a great running back. He opens up the lanes better than the others. He hits just as hard, if not harder, than the others. I understand. Like I said, we can definitely rotate. Let some other guys get some carries here or there. Try to keep the knees running for everybody. But constantly switching at the red zone, where you're causing all this hate by being an absolutely crayon munching garbage can of an offensive coordinator.
That was
Brian Johnson.
You loved talking about eating crayons last week on the post game. You love that crayon comment.
Because that's all he does, man. I swear his playbook is made up of colors. He's sitting there coloring pages in, being like, yeah, this scribble, this one will do right here, guys. And it's like, congratulations, your first grader made something like post up on the wall. That's not an offensive play.
How come they can't just use plays from last year? Were they trying to?
Because ego, man, it's ego. If you took over right now and they said, "Hey, look, you have to use Brian Johnson's playbook," you'd be like, no, I'm bringing my own plays. It's ego. That's all it ever is. Yeah. They just can't accept it. And for some reason, Hurts is throwing the ball more than ever, and he's doing the best he can with it. But we don't need to have him throwing the ball 45 times a game. We're not a throw first team.
That game gave Jalen Hurts Player of the Week because of the amount of yards.
But you can't replay a game from last year that a playbook that's already out there. They're gonna know that we're gonna get destroyed if that happens. You
know what's cool? You know what's really cool about that though is that with the exception of maybe 5% of plays, every play has already been used. It's not saying you don't need to use the same playbook. But every play has been used in the NFL, period, the end. Everyone knows how to stop everything. If you say, hey, look, I've got the best O-line and one of the best running backs in the league, I'm going to run it down your throat till you stop me. Guess what? You do it. You just keep running till they stop you. And when they stop you...
But they were stopping us, Mark. You just said it right now. They were stopping us.
But they're not stopping us. They're not stopping us.
You were just complaining that they weren't running the ball. They were stopping us.
It's not that they're not stopping. It's that our offensive coordinator stopping us. He's the one going, oh, you know what, guys? It's a 1st and 5. Let's throw a Hail Mary ball. Oh, it didn't work? Oh, man, let's do it again. Oh, we got sacked. It's 3rd and 20. All right, let's run the ball now. That's the moronic thought process of our offensive coordinator right now.
Again, we're going to go back to this because it's been an issue all season. It's the RPOs. Jalen's the one that makes the decision at the ultimate when he gets the ball in his hand, if he's going to hand it off or if he's going to throw it or if he's going to run it himself.
Right.
It
And
comes
so
all
we
off of Jalen. So we don't know.
pull it off. Take the responsibility off him.
Yeah.
But
they're not going to, though. They're not going to. They're not going to take it away from him.
Here's the problem is, like, I remember years ago when I first started really getting, like, I always watched football, but I was like, you know, I've always been a hockey guy, and I got into college football really deep before I got in the NFL as deep as I did. And I asked, like, dude, like, come on, like, I was watching RPOs and option plays just dominate in college, and I was like, why is that not work in the NFL? And everyone's like, oh, you can't do that in the NFL. Option plays don't work in the NFL. Players are bigger and stronger and faster and all this bullshit. And all of a sudden, look, RPOs are everywhere. But it's like the same thing with all these like gadget style plays. I remember the year of the Wildcat. Every team was trying to run Wildcat offense. Well, by the next year, every defense had caught on. Every defense knew how to lock it down. And suddenly it stopped working. So people, for the most part, stopped running the Wildcat.
Yeah.
The RPO was big last year, a little bit big the year before. Now defenses know. RPOs are not nearly as successful this year. So what if we just run the ball and just throw the ball? Because that is a style of play that's never been locked down. It's always worked one way or another. Run the ball, make them load the box, quick passes, deep quick shots. It works. It always does at every level of play.
I'm liking the energy we have right now, and we're gonna skip the one word for right now, and I want to bring in Matt, and I want to talk Cowboys. I want to talk
bring it on,
Cowboys.
Matt, thank you for coming in, and happy birthday, by the way. Thank you for
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. We'll try to be extra respectful today.
That's right. Don't you forget it. Yes. It's all right. I'm not expecting anything from Eagles fans.
Oh, ouch.
We'll hand you an L on Saturday to blow out.
Hey, you know what? No.
Thank
You know what? I'm going to come out. We're going to say something real nice and easy, real quick. Got a little call out here for us, I think. We're going in to week 9. All right. We're almost, you know, that Big 10, those 10 weeks in, and your boy has not thrown 10 picks.
Yes. Yeah,
So,
I got a
round of applause to you and your quarterback for standing up on his word.
right.
I expected double digits
right.
by now. Maybe this weekend pulls it all together for us, and we give him to where he needs to be. But
I could have sworn Rain would have way over 10 right by now, but he's hanging in there, Rain.
I will say though, when he does throw
right.
one,
He's
he
doing
throws
right.
in bunches.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does seem to be the type of quarterback that hits those moments of time where he throws a pick and all of a sudden, boom, there's 3 or 4. That's definitely true. But he's always been someone who always reined it in, never really threw a lot of picks. And one of the things that I remember from his rookie year, whenever he was dealing with the whole situation with his mom and cancer, he told a story about whenever he would come home from high school practice and his mom would ask him how practice went, and if he threw a pick, he would get whooped. And his mom would be like, listen, you're playing quarterback. You're supposed to be throwing it to the offense, not the defense. And his mom would always scold him. And then whenever his mom got sick and passed away, he said he would always be a quarterback that never threw a lot of interceptions. Now, unfortunately, some of the years in the NFL, that is his downside. He wouldn't trust his receivers. He wouldn't throw it in the tight windows and things like that. Last year, I think it was a different year. He refused to run because of that leg injury. So I guess he just thought, hey, I'm going to wing it. And he threw it in every tight window and threw a ton of picks. And I think this year we're seeing he's starting to run a little bit more. He's starting to be a little more decisive on those tight window throws. And this year's been typical Dallas Cowboys, up one week, down the next.
Mm-hmm.
I think Trayvon Diggs had a lot of words with him over the summer too.
Oh yeah.
He threw 7 picks in camp, and they were not impressed with what he was doing. So they were telling him, his teammates were telling.
Oh, that's just media. If you watch everyday training camp videos, that's every single day for the last 10 years. That was nothing new. That was just the media catching up on time with that one.
So you said the Cowboys have an up and down week. this year. They've lost 2 games to the Cardinals and the 49ers.
49ers. Yep.
Yeah, right.
One respectable, one laughable.
And look,
it's all right. We always lose to the
We all have
Cardinals.
a laughable
Don't know
loss.
what it is about the Cardinals. We lose every single
Oddly
time.
enough, my memory of us playing the Cardinals, like my whole life, same thing. I remember looking at the schedules in the Cardinals, and be like, all right, that'd be a cool game, and we lose to them. I'm like, I don't get it.
well, don't forget
like the last 6 times we played the Cardinals. Yeah, the last 6 times we played the Cardinals, we've lost 5 of the 6.
Yeah. Well, forget the Cardinals are still. They used to play the Cowboys and Eagles twice a year before they.
Well, yeah, because we used to have them in a division, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't even remember I don't remember when that changed.
It's so the Eagles and Cowboys. Eagles 7-1, best record in football. Cowboys 5-2, coming into the link Sunday night. There's a lot of talk already about this week about the Cowboys secondary is laughing and joking around and saying they can't wait to destroy the Eagles secondary.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on those bulletin board phrases right there? That's bulletin board material right there.
Yeah, NFL, the teams always need to find bulletin board material, let's be real. But one of the things that I find really interesting is in the offseason, I was very excited because of this secondary. And then when Trayvon went down, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Typical Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys, they always seem to be that team the last 10, 15 years of they're really, really, really good, but they always fail when the next man up. Always fail every year. And every year there's an injury. That's the NFL. Someone's always going to get injured, but they always have been terrible in that next man up thing. As we all know, the Eagles' only Super Bowl win is because of the next man up. Mm-hmm. They dominate the next man up. And what I'm seeing with DaRon Bland, I am pleasantly surprised.
He's leading our team, isn't he? In picks?
Yeah, he has 4 pick sixes. One more, he will tie the record for the most pick sixes in a season. But that whole thing, I've been really shocked that, hey, we're not failing the next man up thing right now. But then Cowboys, it's weird. This year, the Cowboys are doing the exact opposite of what we've done the last 15 years. We always lose the game coming out of a bye, and we always lose the game right before a big NFC East game. And this year, coming out of a bye, and it just so happened to be also the game before the big NFC East game, and they won. And they didn't just win; they won well.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's going to be backwards? They're going to lose on Sunday. Great.
Nice, Miguel. Nice. Way to be quick on that.
Yeah. I want to hear what the Eagles have the player of the month on their side, AJ Brown. Swole Batman. 6 games, a NFL record, 6 games of 125 yards or more in a game for 6.
He hits 1,000 yards this week, guaranteed.
He has 700 yards in the month of October. And that's more than CeeDee Lamb has the entire season so far. So what are your expectations of what the Cowboys are going to do to try and stop A.J. Brown?
Probably bracket him. That seems to be the thing that has been working well this year since we don't have Trayvon. They've been doing a lot of doing both man with a little bit of zone, doing bracket over the dominant receiver, manning on the other side. That's actually why DaRon Bland has all his pick sixes. Quarterbacks get confused thinking it's man, but it's actually zone, and he keeps jumping routes left and right. So maybe that's a possibility. But if I know AJ Brown's been dominant, but if you look at the last 4 games, him and CeeDee Lamb are actually almost identical.
They are.
CG, for whatever reason, just started the first 2 games of the season nowhere. It's like he was on the sidelines. AJ has been dominant. CD these last 4 games has stepped it up. I'm really excited about this weekend. Both teams seem to be playing really, really well. So I'm excited to see what goes on.
Well, this is
you're still 6-1 though.
7-1. So
7-1.
the worst 7-1 team. The way we talk, it's like they're the worst 7-1 team you can possibly be.
Yeah.
We're Philly fans. We
Yeah,
expect
Yeah,
that.
this
We
is
just want
Welcome to Philadelphia.
we watch our baseball team throw it all to shit for the World Series. So
I mean, when you lose the Super Bowl, lose the World Series, get put out in the NBA playoffs, then lose the World Series again. What is there left to?
and we lost the soccer championship too.
Oh yeah, let's not forget
Yeah.
that one.
yeah. It's
It's
I don't know.
rough, man.
It's tough right
And now
now.
the Cowboys have a fire in their butt because the Rangers just won the World Series. So
Yeah,
the
Yeah, Dak
Rangers won
was
before the
there.
Cowboys did. Yeah.
I think the Rangers won their World Series. I guess all the teams in Texas have won a championship before the Dallas Cowboys got to the NFC Championship, something like that. I heard some little statistic about that. So
The Texans.
Well, yeah.
Texans,
If you
that's coming up great.
if you stop counting after 95,
right, yeah, exactly. I'm excited for this game. I'm always excited for a Dallas game. I think Philly is always super excited for a Dallas game. We have a couple of people on Instagram. We'll talk about it when we start doing our predictions. But people on Instagram are psyched. They're ready to go. I don't see right now. I don't have a lot. I have a lot of faith in the Eagles' offense because they do put up a lot of points. They put up 38 points. That was the most all season last week. The defense is what scares me. I don't. I'm kind of like on the fence with Bradbury and Slay. They kind of look slow. They kind of looked old last week. And I don't, and then going online and seeing Slay with some Christmas cupcakes or whatever, Christmas sandwiches, eating those. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what's going on here, man? I don't know. What do you got to say? You have something to say, Miguel?
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely in the right by thinking and worrying about our secondary because they did look a little bit a step slower last week against McLaurin and that group of wide receivers. And it's a concern. And hopefully our defensive coordinator takes that into account and figures out a way to defend these Dallas wide receivers as well. I mean, Dallas has to worry about everybody in our wide receiving room, especially Dallas Goedert. So they have a lot to worry about. But my biggest question right now will be to Nat. Like, Nat, this is the second time we had, the third time we have you on?
Third time.
Two times last year.
Yeah.
So between this year and last year, what is the biggest difference you see with this team that concerns you about this year compared to last year?
I think last year it was really only one wide receiver. It was only CD Lamb. This year we have B Cooks, and it seems like Dak and him finally started cooking here the last 2 weeks. My biggest concern is still the offensive line. Tyler Smith is Zach Martin 2.0, but Tyler Biadasz, the center, he's small, and he just can't handle the big, strong D tackles, and everyone knows what is Philly's strength, the D tackles. So go
healthy now.
Who?
Jalen Carter's healthy.
Yeah. I'm still pissed
excited.
about that draft.
He's excited.
Oh my gosh. That was the worst moment of my life following the NFL draft. So
Let's see him go to us.
yes. I was furious. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that he made it past 3. I couldn't believe he made it past 6. And then when you guys as soon as he went and was available to you guys, I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
like, he is. I know Philly. They always do. They strengthen their strengths, and sure enough, they got him. And I was like, you gotta be kidding
me. I have a buddy of mine that's a big college fan with me, and he's not a fan of the Eagles. And he threw a fit to me when we drafted Carter. And then on our 30th, when Nolan Smith was still ready, he literally called me, said if he ever spoke to me again, it's because he was going to slap me for being an Eagles fan, and then hung up. He could not believe that Carter fell. He's like, Carter should have been a top 10 pick. Should have been at 10. And Carter should have been first. And then that Smith should have been like 10 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, we got both. And he just absolutely furious.
Yeah. Yep.
So with that being said, Mike, that concern that you have about the secondary,
yeah,
that knowing that Jalen Carter is coming back and that we can get pressure up the middle, because a lot of people said the same thing about when we played the Dolphins.
Mhm.
Oh, Tyree or Tua's gonna go crazy with Tyree, this, that, and the third. And look, we got pressure right up the middle. We kept him uncomfortable in that pocket. He was unable to be an accurate passer, quote unquote. And I think we could do the same thing to Dak. I mean, like Nate just said, like, Dak's really not a big runner anymore, so he doesn't want to run. So if we can get in his face and put some hurt on him, it's going to change the game completely for us.
Well, it's true. If we are pressuring him with Fletcher Cox and Jalen Carter and Milton Williams and Jordan Davis, are we
Keep going.
Keep going. You've got Jordan Sweat there and Brandon Graham.
The list goes on and on and on. Hassan Reddick comes on in the fourth quarter. Like, these guys wake up after the offensive line is tired. By the fourth quarter, they're gassed. And so, is Dak as good as he used to be when he's out of the pocket running? Would you say? I don't know.
His percentages out of the pocket are still the same. I just think, and here's the big question: Mike McCarthy calling plays this year. It was supposed to be this Texas Coast offense, this fast pace of play. We haven't seen jack of that yet.
Wait, Texas Coast offense? Pause.
That's what they're. So Mike McCarthy brings in this West Coast offense. Well, the Dallas media have called it the Texas Coast offense.
You got to love Texas toast. So
and so with that, I think the game against the Rams was the first time you saw any of that rhythm of the boom, boom. Because, he was preaching all beginning of the season that ball's going to be out of his hands by 2 seconds. Ball's going to be out of his hands at 2 seconds. First 5 games, he was averaging 3.2 seconds a drop back. And it's like, what's going on? What's going on?
And that's what I'm saying right there is we get him out of rhythm. We get in his face. He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that accuracy. Just got to be quicker to get to him. But go ahead.
What's going to be key about this game is Tony Pollard. Is Tony Pollard going to be able to do Tony Pollard things of last year? Tony Pollard has looked like a shell of himself from last year, and
trust me, I've seen on my fantasy team. Yep.
the last 2 games, especially, they're starting to work in this like weird pitch thing to where instead of running it up between the tackles, it's hike and boom, tossing it way out wide to Tony Pollard, and it's been working. Now, what does that do? I don't know. I see Tony Pollard out wide and Ferguson up the middle, going up the seams. If that is going on Sunday, I think that's going to be the only way the Cowboys and Dak Prescott is going to be able to stay on his feet.
How funny is it that teams? I feel like it's been like a recent thing where a team will have like 2 guys at a position. They'll get rid of one, and then the other one who like looked good is suddenly not performing the way they used to.
And they're like, why is that?
Yeah, like I feel like that's a common. Like I'm not even just you guys are pointing out with Zeke and Pollard, but like I remember when who am I thinking of? Oh, when not Armstead, when I'm drawing a blank now. He's a D tackle for the Colts now. He used to be with San Fran. Now, granted, I thought it was I thought it was stupid to get rid of Buckner because I think Buckner's one of the best D tackles in the game. But they got rid of him, and all of a sudden, like with the exception of Bosa, the rest of that D line was not doing nearly as well. You see San Fran right now; they're just picking up guys left and right for that D line. They cannot get anyone but Bosa to do anything, and it's like you get rid of one, all of a sudden the others just stop doing the same. I even see it. Looking at last year with the Chargers. Granted, they didn't get rid of one of them, but when Keenan Allen went down, suddenly Mike Williams wasn't performing, and it was like. You keep seeing players where, like, if you've got too many in one spot, they all play really well. Then as soon as you start, even look at us to the Eagles. We you would think like we picked up Rashad Penny and Swift, and last year Gainwell did well and Boston Scott did well. And you're sitting there going like, oh, now we have too many, and now you want to start shifting away. But if we shift away, like who's going to do well? If we shift away Sanders, and suddenly Scott and Gainwell aren't doing what they used to do.
And they don't even use Penny though. Like Penny is like
Penny has like a total of like 3 carries and 1 reception this entire
and a penalty causing a touchdown to come back. Like after he saw that touchdown come back, we haven't seen him since. We haven't seen him.
Do you blame them? I mean, I don't know why we picked him in the first place. I think Swift was a perfect enough pickup. I don't think we needed Penny. Clearly, we haven't.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting. I'm seeing this with multiple players where it's like when there's the challenge to do better, they do better, and then when they go, it's not as good.
It's kind of like that Batman Robin thing. Pollard was Zeke's Robin, and so if now Batman's gone, what's Robin going to do? That's how I see it. And you got to. That's the quality of the players. If the players have to adjust and realize that now Robin is now Batman, like he's got to step up, and they just don't have. They can't figure it out.
Yeah, and it's completely.
I'm sorry.
It's completely obvious that Pollard needs a hammer or something. Mm-hmm. And what does Jerry Jones do at the trade deadline? Nothing.
I'd say the same as we did. I'm looking at it right now. I'm shocked at how boring this trade deadline really was. I mean, a few weird ones went around. I mean, seeing Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Leonard Williams, and Josh Dobbs all go was interesting. I kind of figured at least someone from Washington was going to go. Shocked they kind of got rid of two. But I mean, the fact that what's crazy is that the players who the teams that made the trades, only one or two of them are even really contenders. The rest were just other teams.
It was a dead trade season.
Yeah, Chicago's not going to make it. Atlanta's not going to make it. Minnesota's probably not going to make it. I don't know if Buffalo's really going to make it out of their division right now. They're kind of falling apart. San Fran made a move. Jackson made a move.
Eagles getting Byard was the only guy who was an All-Pro.
And we didn't even do that at the trade deadline. We did it a few days beforehand.
Yeah. So apparently, I just saw that Byard and Blankenship worked out in the offseason together.
They went to the same school together.
You remember Byard's local.
Yeah, he's a local guy. So it's just
we just keep signing Philly guys.
Philly guys, a guy like you said.
Remember that guy? He used to come to the Sixers games. And he was a linebacker at Penn State, and now he plays somewhere down in the South. We don't really talk about it much, but he keeps even to want to talk about Philly every week, even when he doesn't need to. I feel like he's going to want to come up here one day too.
Oh, I think he wore the Sixers jersey at the basketball game.
Yeah.
Oh, and then he went to the Boston game and put the Boston jersey on as well.
Yep. And then he went to a Mavericks game, put a Mavericks game jersey on too.
He tends to find himself talking about Philly a lot.
Now, in recent days, this person we're talking about has said something about how he wants Cowboys fans to come up and make it a home game.
Crawl out your rock, Dallas Cowboys under your rock.
I really, I don't think I've ever seen in my entire life an opposing team come in and try to take over the Vet or take over the Link. It just doesn't happen.
Any Philly stadium. Actually, even when the Flyers are bad, you don't see teams coming in and taking control. And the Flyers have half their fan base showing up right now.
Yeah. And so I want to hear what Nat has to say about this particular player who wants to be an Eagle. Obviously, he wants to be an Eagle. It's plain as day he wants to be an Eagle. How do you feel about his comments? Do you think Do you think there's enough Dallas fans in Philly who have season tickets or want to spend the money to come and see the Eagles in Dallas play, turning it into a home game for the Cowboys?
I mean, we all know that there's plenty of Cowboys fans in the Philly area.
Oh, there's tons.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they just like to hide a lot when they're not doing good.
Yes, I haven't seen them in the past year or two though. Yeah. It's been weird.
No, that's interesting. That's interesting. But the funny thing about Micah Parsons, he is a PA boy, so he knows what Eagles is all about. He knows exactly how to mess with you, and you guys took the bait. And that's the funny thing about Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons, he knows all the right things to say. He knows when to say them and how to say them, and then he comes in and he backs it up every single time right off of that. So I have yet to see him fail. Who knows? Maybe this Sunday will be the first time he fails.
All I know is that $340 a ticket. I'm not buying a ticket. I want to go to the game, but I'm not buying a ticket.
It's
$240. That's it.
This is the first. Yeah,
$340. That's the cheapest. The standing room only.
Miguel and ticket prices. He doesn't care about ticket prices.
Hey, listen. For that price, I could have got 3 tickets for the price I paid for the Bad Bunny tickets.
and about the WWE WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
So you got those, didn't you?
I'm
That
still
was
trying
my
to-
week last. That was my week last year. That WWE thing.
Nice.
Michael Parsons. You're right. He does know what to say. He knows how to rile up a Philly crowd. This is also the first time I believe that Michael Parsons is going to be playing against Jalen Hurts. No. Oh, yeah. After his comments about the system quarterback comments, because he said the system quarterback comments after the first game. It was after the first game,
second,
and he was injured for the second game. So, Jalen Hurts is, I don't, he doesn't want to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it. He's got a situation with his knee. We all see it. He's limping. He's not as running as fast as he usually does. And then when everybody talks about it, he deflects it over and over and over again. He walked out on a press conference because of it. I don't know what to think of it.
How do you think he hurt his knee? Is it all those tush pushes?
The thing is, though, if he heard it during the tush push and he heard it during a game, it would be on the injured list. My understanding, if he heard it outside of football, either practice or a game, they don't have to list it as an injury because it was happened outside of football. That's what I
Yeah, and I'm still in the belief that he got hurt in that first week against the Patriots game, and he's just been carrying it throughout this whole weekend. You know what I mean? Like every time you fall down or every time you get hit in that leg, that bruise, you feel it. You feel it doesn't go away. Like any little bump, you're gonna feel it. So it's gonna be around for the rest of the season. I'm sure that the training staff is doing what it can to help him alleviate that pain during the week. But that first hit, when the knee hits either the dirt or a helmet hits that or something, you're gonna feel it, and it's just gonna affect him for the whole season.
I think it was the Jets game. That turf is absolute garbage. It hurts so many people.
That too, like I said,
when are they going to ban turf?
That's what we talked about last week.
Man. They need to. I think that's something that every fan base can agree on because it doesn't help any team. No team's being helped by turf.
It's fucking ridiculous. The technology that we have now, you tell me you can't grow dirt indoors or grow grass indoors.
When Michael Gallup tore his ACL 2 years ago, it was literally all he did was jump and land. Nobody touched him. Nobody did anything, and snap with the ACL.
You see, what was Odell Beckham's last time he tore his ACL?
Yep.
He's just running across the field.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was
they're saying I can't remember who he was playing that game. It was in the Super Bowl. I can't remember who it was they were playing. My brain doesn't work anymore. But I remember there being a comment that like the opposing team, like they had a meeting and one of the players was like, "Do not touch the like head emblem in the middle of the field, the logo.
Yeah,
don't if you can avoid it, don't touch it. That turf is so messy there." And that's exactly where he tore his ACL.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, damn, bro, like how many more career-ending injuries do we need before they stop this? You know?
They're not.
Yeah, again, granted, you can still tear an ACL on grass. Don't get me wrong. I mean, my dad tore his ACL snowboarding. Like you can tear it other places, but it's clearly a huge change, and there's definitely a higher percentage of it happening on turf than on grass.
Yeah. Well, you saw my Lotta said that playing 2 weeks on turf is just it takes its toll on the knees. So
yeah, honestly, I think that's why. Like I said, I think that's why Hurts was actually wearing a brace. I think that's why he said, "Don't worry about it." I don't think it's a real injury. I think I think it's just a stress. Because like I said before, like college players, the NCAA forced it. Now all college linemen must wear braces because of the weight and damage to their knees. And I think a lot of these players you see, if you start paying attention to the teams who play more on turf, I think a lot of their linemen are wearing braces a lot more often because it's just they're taking damage and they just don't want to risk it. I mean, look at your guy. You just mentioned him earlier. Your guard.
Oh yeah, Tyler Smith.
Yeah, no, the older one,
Zach Martin.
Yeah, Zach Martin. I mean, I remember him. I remember he came out of college. If I could be wrong, because I know he's a Notre Dame kid, so I know he played most of his games on grass. I'm like 80% positive that when he tore his ACL, it was a away game on turf. And that's why he fell in the draft. You guys got him. I remember saying that day that was the worst thing to happen, was to see probably the best guard coming out of the league in years go to the Cowboys. And then you guys did it again to us with Sean Lee and a Leighton Vander Esch and then Micah Parsons with linebackers. And I was like, of course, you guys, every time I see a star player come out of college, ends up with the Cowboys. But it was like, I remember seeing him get hurt. Because I've got friends who are huge Notre Dame fans, grow up in this area. Everyone here knows an Irish Catholic family. And they were devastated by it. And I remember, I don't think I have watched him play a game without a knee brace on that knee. Now, granted, I don't watch every Cowboys game, but I don't think I've ever seen him play without a brace since that injury. And I think that's just smart on him.
Isn't Notre Dame one of the teams that mandates they were wearing knee braces even before it was mandatory?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure every Notre Dame offensive lineman has to wear.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, that happened after he tore his ACL.
Yeah,
that could be very much. So another thing is that we talked about off the pod here. We talked about Dak Prescott's comments about pouring himself in honey and having a bear attack him. You explained it very well, Nat. Can you explain the quote to us?
Wait, can I read the proper quote so that we're in context so we don't sound like morons?
Go for it.
It's really hard for us to do. There was a conversation had somewhere. Jerry Jones made a post-game comment about the upcoming game, and he said, "I don't want to poke the bear." He said, his exact comment, was, "I don't want to do anything to poke the bear." And that is when Dak Prescott responded, "I don't believe what you just said. Pour honey on me. I always say that. If you see me and a bear in a fight, pour honey on me." That's
man. He was trying to go for the mystical line. Where the mystical,
hold on.
Came out, where mystical came out and was like, "If I'm fighting the bear, help the bear." That's what he's trying to go for.
Go ahead, Nat. Though now we've read it out properly.
Thank you.
Miguel's on point. What Dak is trying to get out of this is Dak is like, in a very, very, very strange way, he's trying to say, listen, I'm a man's man. I don't run from nothing. I attack everything. And if it's going to be a bear, go ahead. Pour honey on me. Give the bear a little bit of something else to go for, because I'm going for it. Now, would I have said it that way? No. Not a chance.
I don't think anyone would.
Not a chance. But I get it. Do I give him kudos? No.
You know what he did? He sat there in his head, you know what? Last time they had an interview with Jalen Hurts, he left phenomenal quotes. So I got to do a phenomenal quote. And that's what he came up with. So
maybe.
And Jalen Hurts sitting over here with a purpose before anyone had an opinion. And, there's Dak Prescott talking about honey and a bear.
Honey and a bear.
Love it.
Yes, that is a good line. I think he actually trademarked that quote. Like Jalen Hurts, like all past over the summer, everybody was trademarking quotes. It was wild.
Right.
His marketing team is really good at that shit.
Yeah.
Nat, we haven't gotten your opinion on what it was like to get Trey Lance in the trade to back up
future quarterback.
Yeah, that's your week 11 starting quarterback, by the way.
Dak Prescott 2.0.
Yeah, sure. If you guys remember right, last year, what did I say about Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts was a more intelligent version of Dak Prescott.
Yes, he did.
And so with this, don't mind my media guy doing some work. The whole Trey Lance thing, that's Jerry Jones in the smoke and mirrors. If you're not talking about the Dallas Cowboys, you're not doing your job. So I don't know.
Has he suited up? Like I saw it last week, he wasn't even suited up to play.
Why would you? Cooper Rush beats everyone except the Eagles, so why would you want any backup but Cooper Rush?
Yeah, I don't think he's been dressing for anything. So it's that. Isn't there a new rule though where you can dress someone?
Yeah, the third quarterback. Yeah, that's
so he's
San Francisco Whiners idea.
Yeah. So I think he's dressed a couple times for that, but no, I think he's nothing but a hope and Mike McCarthy hope and a prayer QB flip it for a higher draft pick eventually.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of
I don't know
feels
if that'll
like
work.
break glass in case of emergency. Like, let's keep him far away from Dak and threatening Dak in the starting lineup. Don't even dress him so Dak doesn't feel any type of way. And
You
if
know what, though?
things goes to shit, okay, we'll bring him in. You know, that's what it kind of feels like.
Do
on the
they
outside.
dress him this week so that if something happens to Dak, they don't need to put Cooper Rush in? Because Cooper Rush had a bad day against the Eagles last year.
Well, I would say I don't think there's anything that could happen this year that Trey Lance would get on the field unless both Dak and Cooper Rush got.
Wow.
I get that. I
bad
will
injuries.
say, I'll add, as I say all the time, I don't want any injuries, so I hope nothing happens. I'd like to see Dak play the whole game. So,
Yeah.
gotta always put that out there.
Well, I mean, if you guys think about it, this is almost like a new whatever you want to call it for Dak. This is the first time he's going against the Eagles without Zeke. It's a new era, and Dak and Zeke together, when healthy, never lost to the Eagles.
Right.
And
True.
now it's like there's no Zeke.
Dak and
So
Pollard.
now what is it going to be? Now what is it going to be? So
You know what? I'm okay with a change in narrative.
Yeah, it's okay.
I like to see some wins.
All right, so let's talk about this game. Let's talk about the outcome. Matt, what's your outcome? What's your score prediction for this Dallas Eagles game?
I don't know. If you've seen my fantasy football, you've noticed that I've been absolutely horrible this year. Now everything football. So I'm in 3 different fantasy leagues and I've been trash in all 3. My year has been awful. So whatever I say, it's probably going to be the exact opposite. So I'm going to go Eagles blowout win.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're playing your percentages there, my guy. Love it.
Funny.
Yeah. No, I think it's like I said earlier, I think both teams are playing really well at the moment. I hope Jalen can fight through whatever this knee thing is. I want to see a good, clean, healthy game. And I think if both teams are playing well, both defensive lines are playing the way they have been this year. I don't see what happened with the almost called wrong team. What is that? Not the Commanders, not the Redskins, it is Commanders. So many names, it's hard to keep up.
For now. They're changing that again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So the Commanders, I don't think it's going to be a game like that. NFC East, it's always crazy. I think this could be one of those barn burners where it's a low scoring affair. Defenses are shining. It's going to be the battle of the run game. I don't see the Cowboys run game doing anything this season. I think that is our weak link. Cowboys Eagles always split 1-1 almost every season. I think I'm taking the Eagles this time, unfortunately. Let's go 24-17 Eagles.
Yeah. That's what we said when we did our, beginning of the podcast, we did our predictions. We had the Eagles winning this game, and then unfortunately Cowboys winning the next one.
Yeah. It always comes down to NFC East, last couple weeks of the season, last big game of the season. And if we could cough up a loss this time, that means we win the next one, right?
That's right. Yeah, odds are, right?
Dak. Dak. Wow. Nate, what is your schedule? What is your schedule after our game?
I don't know. Top hand
Commanders or something like that.
Yeah,
after us, they play the Giants, Panthers, and they have 3 straight weeks of wins. Giants, Panthers, Commanders.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's nice for them. That's cushion. That's a cushion right there.
That should be a decent game for them. Then they play us again. Then they play the Bills, which we'll see if the Bills are actually contending. The Dolphins, if they're still fighting for something, and then they play the Lions, who might be fighting for something, and then another win over the Commanders because the Commanders are going to fall apart by the end of the season.
Yeah. Miguel, what's your take? What's your prediction?
Well, let's see. Too much hype around this one. This one is this one's going to be a barn burner. This is has a lot on the line. Most of these teams are coming in fairly healthy. Like Nate just said, it's going to come down to the running game and the defenses. And you know what? Technically, the defensive offensive lines of both teams. That's what it's going to come down to. Can our offensive line hold up enough to open up the running lanes for Swift? Can Hurts pass the ball when he needs to pass the ball? Can he run if he needs to run with his knee being injured? Can our defensive line get the pressure into Dak's face? Can our secondary hold up against CD Lamb and friends? It seems like every phase of the game is important this time around, whereas we got a couple of wins without having to worry about one side of the ball having to win the game for us. So this one is going to be an overall team win. It needs to be. So I'm going to say it's going to be a 35-32 Eagles victory.
Well, okay. I like that. Still Eagles win. That is a lot of scoring, though. That is a lot of scoring.
It sure is.
Mark, what do you got?
I think Mark choked when I said that score.
Nah, he was fell out of his chair.
It's a floating head.
nah,
Just a floating head right now.
Yeah, I wore black tonight. It's not showing much on the camera, I'm sure. You know, I feel like the Eagles have been having this weird thing all season where if you look back at our schedule, we seem to be playing like almost to like our opponent's expected level. So, you know, we played the Patriots. The Patriots are always expected to be a good team, and we kind of barely beat them. The Vikings were supposed to be, dominant in their division, and granted, we let up a lot of points. We put up a lot of points. The Buccaneers are kind of low end. We kind of played them low end. The Commanders are bottom of our division. We play them at bottom. You know, we're just looking over our schedule, and then also we play like the Dolphins, who are like number one team in passing and rushing, and we held them to like almost no rushing yards, held to it like an all-time low in passing this season. And then we go against the Commanders, and we immediately suck again. So, we're playing a division team of a bad team. I think I agree with my statement that I made before the season. You guys have made it tonight. I think we go 50-50 with the Cowboys this season. I think we typically do. I'd like to see a constant change here because I feel like when I was younger, we would always beat the Cowboys in Dallas and we'd always lose at home. And you know what? As great as it is beating them in Dallas, I don't like losing at home. So I'd like to win this Sunday. I'd like to win both. I'd love to sweep the Cowboys and the Commanders. Hell, I'd love to sweep the whole division. However, I'm not stupid. Most likely that second one's not going to go as well for us. But I have a feeling, something in my gut is saying like, this Cowboys team, it's not the same defense it has been in the years past. Yeah, their secondary is pretty good. And I will say the Bland has been doing really well for stepping up. Look, you guys got some players. I like Micah Parsons. I've always liked Leighton Vander. I've said it multiple times. But the rest of your D-line just doesn't show me the same strength as I feel like other teams do. I've said it to these guys here, Nat, and I think it's happening with you guys as well. But I mentioned earlier tonight with San Fran. I think a lot of teams are just overloading on this pass rush style. Like, everyone wants the next best edge rusher, and I get it. It's a passing league. But as long as Brian Johnson can get enough crayons out of his mouth and actually write a play up, and we decide to start running the ball, I think Swift could easily put up 100 this week. I feel like this is the team that we could truly hurt you guys by running the ball early and often, forcing your secondary guys to come up, be a little more concerned with that run game. And that's when you're going to see A.J. Brown take the top off on one or two plays and Devontae Smith wide open or Dallas Goedert across the middle. I think it's going to be a hard-fought win in the first half, but I think we come out like 35-21. I think we're going to put a little bit of pain on you guys a little early. I think Jalen Carter is going to haunt Dak. I think he's going to push him right into Hassan Reddick's loving arms. And I just can't wait to see how the game goes.
I like your prediction there, Mark. Before I give my prediction, I've got two things that some Instagram users have put on our page when I usually put up who wins, the Eagles or the opposite team. And so Champa the dog with underscores between duh and dog. He goes, Philly dominant win. This is a statement game. The winning of this game here is going to be the favorite to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, hands down. No debating. The winning of this game is going to represent the NFC, and I pray to God it's Philly. Go Birds. And then I got this one here. from Dave Dust on Instagram. I kind of wish this game was in Dallas this week. I believe it's going to be a race to the finish, and we need as many home games at the end of the season as possible, which I like that. But we normally show up at home games, but now we have to play Dallas late in the season in their house, possibly the division and conference on the line. Dallas has the sixth hardest schedule for the rest of the season. I don't think Dallas has the sixth hardest. I don't think so, especially if they've got those three coming off of our game.
I say
we'll
looking
play
at how
again
it's
in week
been.
14.
Yeah, I'd say like besides us playing each other again, like I said, their hardest games are gonna be the Bills and the Dolphins. But I mean, the rest of the year for you guys is mainly division and Panthers. Which come on, the Panthers. If you guys don't beat the Panthers, I don't know if we can have you on next time. I mean,
we finished the season Bills, Dolphins, Lions, Commanders. So
that's a tough schedule there.
Add the Lions.
It's a tough ending. It's a tough ending at the end. But again, I think the Bills are falling. I mean, I could be wrong. I might just be a hater and not even have to add the Bills because I don't like Josh Allen. But they're just not looking the way they were. I do believe in the Dolphins. We were all pretty shocked at how we won that game, even with my ridiculous prediction that went pretty accurate. But I do think that could be an actual difficult. I think honestly, the Lions and Dolphins are the hardest game for you guys after us the rest of the year. Because looking at our schedule, knowing that, we're going to play you guys now, and then all of a sudden we have the bye week, and then we have Chiefs, Bills, Niners, and then you guys again, and we have 4 straight weeks. When I said Bills, like I said, I think they're a little lackluster, but that's probably going to bite me in the ass in a couple weeks. But I mean, with those in a row are going to hurt, and then we play the Seahawks right before you guys do.
Yeah. There's one more thing I wanted to say. This guy, his name's Wheezy _F1N93R5. That's a lot of numbers right there. I don't even know what that means.
You sure that's not a Russian bot?
I have no idea. No, he goes, why is this even a question on this page? Anyone that doesn't say birds is a fake ass fan. I don't see
that comment. I hate that comment.
I think the Birds are going to beat the Cowboys here, like we thought, 28-17. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I think we're going to see Jalen Carter well rested, healed, and I like to see him in the backfield with Dak pretty much most of the game. I would love to see that happen. I would love to see Bradbury and Slay look like old Bradbury, Bradbury and Slay, not
Blackberry.
Blackberry.
Bradbury.
You really want to go back in time, yeah.
Yeah, right. I want them to be the old guys, not the old guys, because
gotcha.
I just need them to be their old selves before. Like last week was not them. That was the way Bradbury let Scary Terry.
But we've been complaining about that all season, right? Like we saw it early in the season. It's just like he can't be on the speed guy. He can't. No. He could be on the big guy. He just can't be on the speed guy.
Mm-hmm. Eli Ricks, man, he had some good plays.
Ricks was playing well. He's playing well. Eli Ricks was playing well, and I think he's going to show up. And he's going to. He felt good after playing Tyreek, so maybe he's going to feel good after playing against CD. We'll see.
So maybe Julio Jones catch a touchdown in this game?
I was going to say maybe Julio gets a touchdown again this week. I don't know.
We do have quite a threat there on wide receivers. So, you can't cover all of them.
Nope. Can't bracket everybody.
Yeah, you can't. And I think that's what we're going to see.
Unless you're Kansas City, because then you've got 5 extra players wearing black and white, and then you can definitely bracket anybody.
Zing.
Very true. Although they didn't show up to that Denver game.
No,
well, independent refs from another country, and that's why.
That's because Taylor wasn't there.
Oh,
she was there. She was there. They played.
She wasn't there in person.
I can't. I'm so done with the Taylor Swift.
Oh
my goodness!
Just ramming her down our throat at this point.
I heard her reach out to the NFL and told him to stop it because they're trying to gain viewership off of her. Her likeness, and it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. And she's coming to Philly for that fucking Kansas City game. You know that.
Well, she's an Eagles fan.
It's in Kansas City. It's in Kansas City.
But that's what I'm saying. She's going to be there.
Oh, she will. She better. Monday Night Football. Yeah, come on. Yeah, that's it. I think we really kind of, we converted a Dallas Cowboy fan to an Eagles fan. We all know.
I don't think you'd agree.
We all witnessed that, right? We all witnessed.
Yeah, because you're stupid if you go against your team. That's right.
Right.
Eagles.
Right.
Yeah, well, in that case, we got a Jags fan, we got a Colts fan.
That's right.
We got Cowboys, Eagles fan.
Yeah, so that's what happens. As soon as if you're on this podcast and you root against you pick your other team to win, which I have done, Miguel has done. Yeah. We are now fans.
And you're both Dolphins fans too now.
Yeah, we're all Dolphins fans too. Yeah.
Go Birds.
Yeah,
Go Birds.
I don't. It's tough to keep letting Mark win each week on these things, and it's hard to have Mark be right sometimes. Really.
Well, you know how you fix that? The Eagles lose.
Right. That's okay. I'd rather take a loss and the Eagles take a win. I'll go for that.
Exactly. I'll take that one as well.
Let's go.
So thank you for everybody for coming in and listening. Nat, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
I'm going to show you. We usually during the games we have a lot of in-game takes on our Instagram. So we'll hook you up on the message line there, and hopefully you can leave some messages during the game if you get to watch it.
Good deal. Yeah, my Sundays are busy, but
a little busy, right? Yes.
Yeah. So
I'll watch the game.
Yeah. The Eagles games I always get to watch.
Let me get your phone number so I can text you during the game when you're in Mass. And I can just pick you up.
Yeah. They wonder why I'm throwing my phone across the.
Yeah, that's right. That's Miguel. Miguel's texting me.
The Holy Ghost got into the
again, Nat, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. Glad to have you on.
Thanks,
again.
Nat, man.
Yeah,
It's
man.
good to see you, brother.
Yeah, good talking, guys.
Yep. And thanks for listening. And if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Squawking Eagles Podcast, where you can follow us, subscribe to us on YouTube, and also subscribe onto Instagram for subscriber content only available to those who subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, a like and follow, give us a comment. We love to hear you. And then again, we are on X and the what is it? TikTok.
The Tickety Talk.
Tickety Talk here and there. That'll do it for us. I'm Mike, Miguel, Mark. Thanks again, Nat.
You already know how we do. EAGLES Eagles.
Eagles.
Hey,
Go
Mike,
Birds.
hit that music.